Welcome back. My name is Abdirahman Said. It is the Off the Clock podcast. Here with us are some of our guests, where we'll be repeating the topic of discussion, youth and leadership. Here with us, let me start off from the far left. Your name and a little bit about the topic for today, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Shuram, for having us here. My name is Odero. I am a media trainer at Mount Kenya University. Also, I take deeply matters to do with the youth and mentorship. I'm also here based on the topic that you're talking about. I'm looking forward to having great engagements with us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shuraim, for hosting me on this Off the Clock podcast. I think this is my first appearance. Thank you for extending the warm invitation. My names are Abdirahman. My names are Honorable Abdirahman Hussein, elected member of County Assembly representing the good people of Old Town, and I'm here today to have this discussion with you. So thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you for being here, sir. Let's get into it. Youth and leadership. The other time we had a discussion on matters affecting youth and how we can mentor young leaders in the county as well, not just in the county, but in the country. So let me start off by first of all giving you a minute or two to dig deep into the matter of youth in terms of leadership and in terms of a county where we are at the moment. Where are we in terms of uprooting young leaders in the county? Let's start with you, sir.
Thank you so much. Let me go right to the points. Indeed, when we talk about leadership, it can be in any form. It can be in a political seat. You can be a leader in your own capacity at school or anywhere. But leadership is the ability to provide a solution, or rather to provide guidance and be a role model to those who look up to you. At the county level, I'm pleased that this third county assembly of Mombasa, we have at least around 12 youthful MCAs. So in terms of representation, I can say we are well represented and we champion for the agendas touching on the youths. It is really a very, very daunting task to be a leader, rather a political leader, especially when you're a youth. The public is so demanding, but it is actually a pleasure. It is a gift from God that has been entrusted on us, and we wake up every day to try and be the solution that we want to see in the society. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think that one is very well clear. Mr. Chris.
Yeah. Mine, I'll start by there has been a discussion about whether leaders are born or leaders are made. And this discussion, I've never gotten to a conclusive answer about the same. But I believe that leaders are made. And when we come to the point where we want the youth to take part in the leadership of the country, the youth play a very important role, especially in the leadership of the country, because one, as per the statistics that we have, the youth basically form the majority of the population that we have. So basically we have the power as the young people of the country to take part actively, not just as people that are going to be used as probably a staircase by other people to get at the top, okay, but also take part. And I'm glad that even Mheshimiwa here is a youthful leader, and based on the statistics that he's given, according to, in reference to not Kakamega County, Mombasa County, in reference, sorry for the confusion, in reference to Mombasa County, we have, that's a great representation. So we would like to see a situation whereby more youth are coming out. Youth should not just sit back and watch. They should not just be like sheep following leaders out and about. We should have that power. We should have that capacity to be able to come out and try and contest for this elective and appointive seats.
Another point you mentioned, I think both of you had a word about the population. Let me just go to one of the statistics in terms of population in Kenya here. We have about between 2009 and 2019, the youth population in Kenya increased from 11 million to 13 million over the same period. The proportion of youth to the total population increased slightly from 28% to 29%. That is as of 2019. That is the 5-year breakdown by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. According to that, this increase in the population brings opportunities, at the same time brings challenges. As youth, what can you say to the youth out there towards the challenges that this increase in terms of the population brings, that does being unemployment in the counties and the country as well? What can you say? How can we curb with these problems? This problem of unemployment in the country, of which it's a big topic of discussion.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the statistics that you said about we've had about 40% of the population is youthful. But again, I beg to answer to ask the question that we've seen a very worrying trend of voter apathy, especially among the youths. Youths have surrendered the mantle of leadership to more like the elderly population. They are not interested in politics. They are not interested in making elective decision. Rather, the youths are focused on other activities, be it entertainment, be it sports, and all that. So it's high time that youths view politics as a tool that really has an impact on their lives. You've spoken of the aspect of youth unemployment. I think this is a global trend, and as a country, we've not been left behind. We've had more graduates year in, year out, but again, the opportunities out there are very minimal. That's why there's been focus on self-employment. There's been focus on skilled laborers and all that. So I think the issue of unemployment is not an issue that we can leave it squarely to the political class. It's something that affects all of us.
Yeah. A little bit on that, the population, the high population in terms of the country. Sir Chris, in terms of the media, what can we say since we have so many influencers in the country? At this point, I'll try to derive it in terms of influence. How can the social influence that people get, how can it help the population, the youth population?
One thing about with the modern day trend, technology is a thing that we cannot do without. And we've seen patterns of communication change. There has been so much innovation in terms of how people relate. We've seen so many forms of media coming out. And this media, they come out with opportunities also. Yeah. We've had people, especially the young people who've come out, who've become brands as a result of responsible social media use. When you talk about responsible social media use, it's basically the effectiveness of the social media that we have. When you are using the different forms of social media that we have in a constructive manner, they basically become useful to the entire society. So when you talk about unemployment, these are a space that I think the youth can take up part in. Especially we can take up things to do with content creation, which I believe at the moment, even if you went to any social media now, you'd find at least a huge majority of people are probably going live from wherever they are. People are posting, people are sharing information, and this basically provides the entire youthful space with a platform in which one we can get the opportunities. Yeah, we can get the opportunities. We can monetize the content that we make. For those that can create content, basically monetizing, becoming brands, and also not just content creation. There are so many things that go around social media. Social media has become a thing that in most cases it can be used as a tool for revolution, whether it's economic, whether it's political. So it basically depends on how do we want to take it up. How do we use the social media or the different communication patterns that we have at our disposal.
Okay, let's come back to you, Mheshimiwa, on the side of the bringing up young talents in terms of youth and leadership, in terms of leadership. There's so many people out there, there's so many young talents who are very much into leadership, who want to be in leading positions in the country. We have this kind of expectation from the youth that they should be the ones that do groundwork for the people, for the leaders, for the elderly. What can you say about in terms of youth as a leader, as a youth leader? What can you tell those leaders who are down there, who are youth, who are young people, who want to come up and be leaders in the future, who want to be leaders right now, but do not have that ability, or that they do not get that motivation of going up and becoming leaders? What can you tell them?
Yeah, I think that there's been a perception, I don't know whether it's real or perceived, that the political arena is usually a very, very secretive, rather club meant for few people, few individuals, that you have to come from this sort of background, you have to get to know, you have to have a connection for you to attend seats. In my case, I defied all those odds. I had a goal, I had a dream rather, that I wanted to see a different Mombasa, especially in Old Town. I wanted to take it upon myself as a personal challenge that indeed I've been complaining for a while. I've been complaining of lazy politicians. I've been complaining of poor leadership. I took it upon myself, and it's not been an easy decision, but I made the declaration together with friends and family. It's been a daunting task. And I understand why youths don't go for these positions, because you have to develop a very thick skin. Yeah, it's a very, very tough field. But I believe that, all of us can give it a try. Here and there, you can fail. You learn a lot. It's a journey that has a lot of lessons to be learned. And with time, I think all of us are scared. We are all scared of failing. Everyone wants to vie, but nobody wants to give it a real shot. Yeah, because to be honest, I personally received a lot of discouraging remarks from friends. People will be like, "You think you can make it, boss? You can't make this thing up." So I gave it my best shot. I studied a lot of political campaigns here and there, and while I was in university, I was also in leadership at the university level. I think that shaped my journey in politics. So for the youths, we can say that we should really aspire to be at those positions. It's possible we can do it without having any godfathers, without having any political friends here and there, as long as you have a strong message that resonates well with the public. Yeah, it's a matter of capturing the imaginations of the populace. Yeah.
Thank you on that. I think in terms of promoting young talents into leadership, that is one thing that you going through that into the leadership of university. There's so many leaders here right now who are more focused in university leadership, then have that ambition of one day becoming a leader, but get through a lot of problems on the way. But we'll get back to that in a moment. Chris, what do you offer in terms of in the media field? What can you say to leaders, young leaders who aspire to one day become as hold top offices in the country? What can you tell them? Let's talk on from the media side of it.
Yeah, before I even get deeply into the media, personally, I'm a believer in going for what you want. Yeah, if you believe, I believe that we can basically be anything that our minds tell us. Yeah, therefore, just going for what you want is enough for you to get to achieve your dreams. So we encourage people, we encourage especially the young people, let us try and go for these competitive seats. Yeah, as Mheshimiwa says, it may be hard. Yeah, from his own experience, he said he has to develop thick skin. Yeah, it may be hard, but at the end of the day, no one said it would be easy. You understand? Yeah, no one said it would be easy. So I believe that when you believe in yourself, you know that you're built for this. Yeah, you're built for this. You go for whatever you want. On the side of the media should be used as a way of promoting the youth. And it's not just promoting the youth, but the issues of the youth. What issues are the youth facing? How can they be addressed? That is basically being the eye, okay, or the mouthpiece, not just the eye, also the mouthpiece of the youth. Yeah, when all the issues that the youth are complaining of, when we are talking about unemployment, we are talking about cases of depression. Just the other day, we heard of a story where a young man committed suicide. You understand? So the media can play a crucial role in basically ensuring that all these issues that are affecting the young people are addressed. And as the media, one of the functions of the media is to act as a watchdog. Okay, so we talk about equitable share of opportunities even in the government. Yeah, equitable share of resources. So the media should also act as a watchdog, and I believe that the Kenyan media, most of the media that we have in Kenya, have been doing much. Okay, giving the youth platforms to basically just air their issues. When you talk about the other day, I saw a story of a company that had advertised for a position. I'm not sure which position it was, and you could see the number of people that turned out. Yes, the security guards, and you can tell that this is a crisis. So how do we get to know that? It's through the media. So the media should act as the mirror of the society. We are able to see what is basically happening in the ground. Yeah, and then you're also saying that for the youth that are basically aspiring to come out in leadership positions, a seat at that high table is not enough. Yeah, just a seat at the high table is not enough. Being in that position is not really enough. It comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of expectation. Yeah. So let's not just imagine. There is this mindset that the Kenyan young person has, that politics is a way of escaping probably poverty. Understand? Politics is many view it as a job opportunity, right? Yes. But you have to look at it in a sense that there is a whole society that is looking up to you. There is a whole community. The people that are trusting you as a young person in the position are basically looking up to you to change. Not to change their lives individually, but to change the way things are happening. The policies. You make policies that are going to be helpful to them. Yes.
So let me ask this question to Mheshimiwa. It's more of a youth leadership question. It's more of like leadership in terms of youth. As a leader, what lessons do you think? What ways can communities support and encourage youth involvement in civic leadership? For example, in terms of putting young people in the highest offices, in terms of putting young leaders to lead programs, government programs. What can you say? What can you give in terms of how can communities support that?
Shurem, I think we need to come to the reality that gone are the days when the community will decide that, rather will give you on a silver platter that a position of leadership. These days, things are different. You have to go for it. You don't expect it on a silver platter. There's another aspect that I wanted to touch on something he said. we focus so much on looking for these seats. That's the most anyone can think of when it's about politics. But the crust of the matter is it's what we do after we have that seat. After you are at that table where the decisions are made, it's the ideas that you bring on forth. Yeah, because we are not short of youthful leadership in Kenya, are we? We're not. I guess we have quite a number of legislators at the National Assembly. We have them at county assemblies, but are we really satisfied with the leadership they've offered? I think that is a question that begs. Yes, and I think, so the focus should be like, you are a youth, you've gotten this opportunity to lead. What have you offered in a period of 5 years? You might offer policies, you might offer bills, legislative agendas, and all that. You might offer to mentor the youth. And the best way to mentor the youth is to show them how to do it, so that the public will entrust on a youthful person the next time they vie for it. Or else, if we see youthful legislators who view this as an opportunity, or rather as a getaway, or rather as a connection to high position and all that, it will not be doing justice to this position.
The point that you mentioned, mentorship programs. Let's say, for example, there are so many mentorship programs that do happen that encourage or build young leaders. In terms of those programs, we see programs coming day in, day out, but at the end of it, we kind of tend to look into what that program brings. In terms of, like one thing that I can say in this coastal region in Mombasa County as well, you might have a program, but the people, the youth, in terms of showing up is a major problem. In terms like showing up and going for those programs is a problem. So what can you encourage? What can you say to this youth?
One of the biggest challenge we face is normally the youth have given up on these platforms, on these opportunities, on these programs. I've partnered with the local CBOs in my area where I partake in mentorship activities and programs. But again, we normally, when we invite the youth, like we want to roll out a program and we want to do a public participation, they rarely show up. I mean, that is something that has been witnessed across the nation. It is not something that is very, very common in other countries, I can say. But whereas here, case in point in Mombasa, when we call people for public participation, and I think I've lamented on that on my social media pages, that we normally call people for public participation, nobody shows up, especially the youth, because everybody believes that we're just doing it for PR and all that. Nobody takes it serious. They've given up. Yeah. So that's why when I was doing my campaigns, I mean, I came up with my own slogan, and a slogan that inspires, that gives you hope and all that. I coined several slogans, but the one that stuck on my mind and that resonated well with the people was Anza fresh. Let's start on a fresh plate. Let's start on a fresh mindset. When we are called for public participation, let us come out in numbers. Let us give it a shot at everything we do. We should not just sit aside and castigate and preempt the programs that we come up with. So in terms of mentorship, I think we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. Yeah.
In terms of getting rid of the perspective of thinking leaders, for now, let's talk about that side. Leaders are kind of, like as you've said, PR, showing up to people. Youth don't show up to this public participation. They don't participate in these activities because they do think that it's more of a PR, not an opportunity that might come with it. Let me start with Chris. Give us some few things that you can tell these youth leaders, not just youth leaders, but all the youth that are out there, for them to come up and show up.
The culture that has been put or instilled into the young people of this country is that culture of handouts. Anytime I see a mheshimiwa, I'm not thinking, I totally forget. My mind becomes clouded of my issues. I don't think of that road. Yeah. I don't think of that opportunity. Maybe I have a brother that probably needs school fees. Yeah. The thing that comes to mind, and I believe that Mheshimiwa has gone through this, when probably you're driving around, someone notices your car, the first thing they usually come, it's expecting that you give them a handout. So that is a culture that I believe should be gotten rid of in the minds of many young people. Okay, that handout that you are going for, the small handout that you'll get should not be a reason enough to cloud your judgment, to prevent you from looking at the bigger picture. Yeah. Coming back to the point about mentorship, I believe that mentorship is basically walking into the shoes of someone that has been there. That is how I define mentorship. When we are talking about mentorship, mentors are basically people who give us the light, who show us the way, okay, who show us what to avoid. Understand? So these activities, and I believe that there is more that can be done in terms of empowering the youth. Just apart from mentorships, there can be many trainings, civic education about what the youth can actually do. Yeah, what programs do we have at each level of government that basically the youth can take part in. Okay, yes, so that we can get that mindset out of the youthful population. The mindset of whenever I see a mheshimiwa left, right, center, all I think about is that handout that I can get. So there is more that can be done in terms of mentorship and ensuring that the youth of today are empowered. When you empower a generation today, especially the youth, you see the youth are basically a bridge between generations. Yeah, the youth are basically, apart from being the bridge between the generations, the youth are the future. Okay? Yes. We are the foundation. We are the foundation to what the future holds. Most of the leadership.
I want to break up a question on that, on the youth being the foundation. There's so many challenges that youth face. There are so many things that keep youth from becoming what they want to become. There are so many things, and that on that point, the issue of mental health, that is one of the major things that is affecting, as we've talked about, is one of the major things that is affecting youth right at the moment as we speak. This generation are more of a generation that is dealing with mental health issues. What are your thoughts on the connection between mental health issues and substance abuse in terms of the youth population? And what do you think we can nurture talent, or how can we nurture those talents to avoid this, to keep them away from these issues that tend to be over mental health issues?
So before I even get to that, I was mentioning about the youth becoming a bridge to the future. If you give a case scenario, if you look at the current top leadership of this country, most of the top leaders that we have in the country are basically people that were given chances as youth in the previous regimes. All of them have a history with the previous regimes, and what made them get to the point that they've been, or where they are right now, is basically the mentorship. Someone basically took their hands and got the mentorship. So if we, as the different stakeholders, whether in academia, whether in the political, the leadership scene, come out strongly in terms of mentoring the young people of this country, we are basically building a better generation. Yeah, we are basically looking at a greater future that is going to be of great significance to this country, whether economically, politically, or even socially. Yeah. So when you talk about the cases of mental health has been a topic of discussion lately, and when in most cases, the youth are the majority of the people that are going through issues of mental health. And there are so many wide issues when you talk about mental health. There's depression, other conditions are coming, anxiety, many other things. But the most common is basically depression. What leads to this depression? Okay, there's always an underlying factor that is going to lead to a person. A person may not just get up and decide that today I feel like I have a mental health issue. There has to be something that has triggered them. Yeah? And basically, this now delves deeper into what are the issues that the youth are facing. One, we talked about unemployment. Unemployment is actually the key problem that has led to depression among the youth. It has led to other issues which now come out. The youth are basically now going to drug and substance abuse as coping mechanisms. Yeah, because now I have nothing to do. What do I do? If you walk around and I believe you've also witnessed situations where you walk around, it's early morning, you see young people with great potential seated and going, yeah, probably waiting for a vendor selling a substance to do what? And that is an issue. So we have to check what is the cause. When we address the cause, it starts at the root. When you address it, when a tree has an issue, you don't start by cutting the leaves. There's always a problem under the root. So those are the problems.
The problem under the roots, as I quote, the problem under the roots, and that being at a young age. The youth when they're kids, in university, in high school, in primary. This question goes to Mheshimiwa. What, in terms of the county, what are the things that are in place in terms of helping these kids who are in high school, those who are coming from primary to high school? I think I've seen the governor's scholarships. The governor has put in place some scholarships which will be helping the youth. Not just the youth, but these kids who are going from the kids who might potentially have drawn out of school, and how it can help this youth. Let's deal with it that way. And what can you tell about us in terms of that scholarship?
Oh, okay. Let me just touch on the mental health topic. It's a phenomenon that has been very common in our generation. It's something that is getting out of hand. Youths are getting into depression. They're having anxieties. They're having suicidal thoughts and all that. It is a worrying trend. It's something that really bothers everyone. I mean, like he said, there is a root cause, and all factors indicate to maybe unemployment could be one of the main reasons. Unattainable living standards, I mean, that is something else. I mean, another thing, or rather another cause could be like when you were young and you go to university and you have this idea of the world that after university life is going to be smooth and all that, and then you start to tarmac, and then, I mean, after scoring first class and in your undergraduate and all that, and then the reality on the ground is different, and then you fall into depression. You engage in substance abuse and all that. It's a whole circle. It's something that really deserves the attention. It should rather be an issue that should be addressed at the national level and at the county level. You've spoken about the governor's mentorship. It's one of the programs that, as a county government of Mombasa, we've started. We've started governor's mentorship program. Governor's mentorship programs touches on school-going primary students and secondary students, whereby at that age there's a mentorship classes and all that, and they get a stipend at the end of the program. The governor's scholarship, it's another brilliant idea that we've recently adopted, and needy students from poor backgrounds and who are excellent in academics are going to benefit from such programs. It is something that really gives us satisfaction at that top of the major role of an MCA. By the way, I have to talk about this. There's a lot of misconception on what we do. Yeah, people expect development from the MCAs, but the constitution does not give us the right to have does not give us the responsibility to engage in development activities. The role of MCA is basically simple: is legislation, representation, and oversight. Legislation is where we come up with bills, with laws, with bylaws, county bylaws, and all that. Representation is where we debate on the floor, and we air out the grievances of the community so that it may be addressed. And then oversight is what we do. I mean, we're normally charged with setting up the county budget, the appropriation and all that. So it's a follow-up we do on the executive. So most of the people are like, as an MCA, Bana, MCA, you've not done any development, you've not built hospitals in my area, you've not issued bursaries to me and all that. But you have to understand that as an MCA, my role is to make sure that I have set aside some funds, yeah, meant for bursary. I have to set aside some funds meant for development issues in my area. That is the key role we do as an MCA. I'm sorry I diverged from the topic, and I had to let that one out. So yeah, in terms of mental health and in terms of what the county is doing, I think as a county we will also come up with policies that target directly the youth, so that we create some sort of safe spaces for the youth and all that. And I'm glad in Mombasa, I think we have Swahili Ports where they're doing an amazing job with the youth. So yeah, we are trying to set up other centers like that and engage the youth on one-on-one, like I'm doing right now. Yeah. Thank you.
I think in a few minutes we'll be coming to the end of the show. Let me just give 1 or 2 minutes to each to just deal with the topic at all and give a little bit word of motivation to all the youth out there. Let's start with you, Mr. Chris.
Yeah. So to all the youth that tuned in, what I'd like to say is, as the youth of this country, we have the potential to build our nation. Regardless of the challenges that may rise, especially when we are growing population, growing up, we at times come up with expectations of what we expect the society to be. But then you could grow and realize that things are different. Does it mean that we give up? No. Yeah. So to the youth out there, in everything that we are doing, everything that we are trying to build, let us keep building regardless of the challenges that we are facing as a youth. We should also come out in large numbers and try find a spot at the table. What do I mean by the table? These leadership positions, positions of influence. Let us try and build a capacity in which we can have spots in these spaces. The last thing I would like to say is let's not give up as a country. Let's not delve into issues that are basically going to be not constructive in a way. Let's not engage in destructive activities as the youth of this country, because the future basically lies in our hands. Thank you.
Over to you, Mr.
On my closing remarks, I will also like to echo the sentiments of my colleague here. My message will be like, do not give up, do not despair. Things might not work out today, but they will definitely get better if you try harder, if you knock harder. If you stop knocking the door, then definitely no one will open the door. So it's a message of resilience, is a message of hope, a message of having a go-getter attitude as well. You need to claim your position at the table of leadership. You need to stamp your authority. You need to speak for the youth. You need to speak for yourself. That is my message for the youth. Thank you.
I think thank you guys for watching, and I think you've heard it from the member of County Assembly, Old Town Ward, and Mr. Chris, media trainer. Thank you guys for being here, and that is all for today. Thank you for watching.